What's going on YouTube? Let's talk about Samsung's last true Note flagship Note device. Samsung's last true flagship Note device, and that would be the Note 9. Now I know already some of you are probably saying, oh, the Note 10 Plus is better, the Note 20 Ultra is better, but I'm almost certain that the majority of people that have had this device or have it currently would say this is Samsung's best overall phone they ever made, period, or clearly the best Note that's ever been made. Now, for me, I always have said this is Samsung's most complete Note. Not necessarily the best, but far as having everything, this is that device. And this device is clearly still relevant today. Now, some people may say it's not relevant only because it's no longer getting software updates, but it's still getting security patches. And some people, everybody don't care about software updates. They just don't. Now, you have a good amount of people that do, but then you also have a lot of people that don't. And the reason why I'm saying that is because this is one of the most popular devices on my channel by far, and it's been that way since I've had my YouTube channel. And also, there are people that are still coming on to my channel, going into the comment section and asking me, either telling me they're going to buy this device or they're asking me should they buy this device. My advice is always this. Now, this device is, you can clearly get it for under $250, which is a steal because this is a flagship device. But I always say, listen, if you don't care about software updates, you don't care about having a wide angle lens camera, then I would say get it, especially if it's renewed from Amazon, which they have excellent renewed devices which look and perform like brand new. You should definitely check that out. And also 90 days you could use that phone before it has to go back if you don't want it. So you get to keep it for 3 months. So, but I'm saying this, that's what I was telling them. If software updates is not an issue for you, then I'll say go and get it. And if you don't need a wide angle lens on the camera, then I say go for it, because this is a flagship device, especially if you get it and it runs really well. You have no issues. You don't have no lag or anything like that. You don't have no screen burning and none of that. If you don't have any issues with the device, I definitely recommend this device. But that's not what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about this being Samsung's last true flagship Note device. And what I mean, this was the device that basically gave you everything. Released in 2018. And also the starting price for this when it was released was $1,000. Now, this was Samsung's first $1,000 device. And I'm sure I'm not the only one that was somewhat surprised and shocked when they came out with that price, because I believe the previous Note, which was the Note 8, was $800. So they jumped all the way up to $200 more and charged $1,000 for this device. Now, that's a whole lot to take for a device. That's a lot of money to be thinking about paying for a smartphone that's going to lose value pretty quickly anyway. That's just it. These devices are like cars. As soon as you drive off the lot, you already start losing money. It's just reality, especially with smartphones too, because there's so much competition out there. Now, I know in this country, US is mostly Samsung and Apple. Those are the two biggest competitors in the West. Now, I know Google's out there, they got their fans. OnePlus has their fans, and of course there's people out there like LG, but Samsung and Apple, they are the top dogs in this country. That's just facts. Okay, but let me get back to why this was Samsung's last true flagship Note device. Now, also, the thing that really bothers me now more so than anything else is the removing features, and there's no boxing experience. With this device, you actually had a nice boxing experience. And what do I mean by that? Well, you got a set of AKG headphones with extra earbud tips in the box. You got a 15-watt fast charger in the box. You got S Pen replacement tips in the box. You got your OTG, that little white piece that got, allow you to transfer your data in the box. And you got a couple of pamphlets in the box, and also your SIM ejection tool. All these things were in the box, which gave you a nice unboxing experience. And that's something Samsung has completely taken away from the consumer. Now you get nothing in the box except a charging cable. Now, who gives a crap about a charging cable with no charging brick? I mean, that's just stupid. Why even bother insulting me and upsetting me with putting the stupid, um, you know, the charging cable in there, and I have nothing to plug it up to? It's just stupid. No headphones, no nothing. You don't get nothing in the box anymore. So I'm always confused as to why YouTubers continue to do unboxings of stuff that has nothing in the box. Well, I don't see the point. I really don't see the point. So if I'm gonna be opening up something that I know ain't nothing in it, then I'm not wasting people's time doing an unboxing when there's nothing to unbox. So that thing there really, really bothers me. Now, back to what makes this Samsung's last true flagship Note device. Check out all the things that this device has. Just listen to me. You had Gorilla Glass 5 on the front and the back with an aluminum frame. And as you can see, this is a beautiful, well-built device. It's absolutely beautiful with this silver. I love this silver color. I never had a silver phone before. And this phone's extremely well built. I mean, it has, it's not too thin. Like, actually, the Note 10 Plus is actually thinner than this, and I didn't like it. Kind of stabbed me down here in my palm. This one doesn't do that. It has a good amount of thickness, which was a little bit thicker, but it has a good amount of thickness, and it has nice, good weight to it. It's not too light. The Note 10 Plus is actually lighter than this. But this phone is absolutely beautiful build quality, just absolutely stunning. It's eye candy, honestly, and I feel like an executive when I'm rocking this phone. Love it. Love that build quality. So you already have flagship build quality. Next thing, you're getting that 6.4-inch Quad HD Super AMOLED display with a pixel density of 516. Now, Samsung has always been known for making the best displays on the market. Now, there's fierce competition out there now. So, but I mean, everybody basically buy their panels from Samsung. That's just the norm. But this is a beautiful Super AMOLED display, Quad HD, beautiful, 516 pixel density, absolutely beautiful. And that's what you want on a flagship. That's what you expect on a flagship device. Next, you're getting the iris sensor. And let me turn this off so you can see what I mean. Now I'm going to hit the power button. See that light right there? That's the iris sensor. It sees your eyes and it'll open up the phone. See, I'm doing this behind the camera. So it works very, very well. And, when I used to use this phone as my daily driver, I never used the fingerprint sensor. I just felt like I didn't need to. I used the iris sensor. I press this 3D button right here at the bottom. See that button right there? You press that to activate the screen and activate the iris sensor, and it automatically sees your eyes and unlocks the phone. So I never used the fingerprint sensor because I never really liked the fingerprint sensor being on the rear of a phone, and this one is a little high. I mean, I don't have really long fingers, so it really should be right here where the Samsung logo is at. That'd be like the perfect placement, but it's up a little high, so I kind of have to stretch. But because of the iris sensor, I don't have to do that. All I have to do is press my 3D button, home button. It activates it, opens it right up. So I love the iris sensor. I love it. And I used it 99.9% of the time. So that's something that Samsung removed from the Note 10 Plus, and they never put it back because, and a big reason for it, of course, they'll say, well, it's because we were going for a bezel-less display. And Hate that it just went away. But you can see it has his forehead up here. So they were going for a bezel-less display, so they had to remove that. No, they could have just made that a little thinner, still took away the bezels around the side and around the bottom, and still kept the iris sensor. So that's a lame excuse, in my opinion, as to why they removed it. But that's something I definitely miss, and I wish that's something Samsung would bring back, because far as I know, the Note 9 was the only device out there that had the iris sensor that opened up the phone with your eyes, and is very, very secure. And I could even use this not only for secure folder, which was cool, but I could use it even with my banking app. That's that's how secure that thing was. So I love that. I love that. All right. Of course, always on display. Samsung makes the best always on display in the business, no question about it. As you can see, time, date, battery percentage, your notifications down here, and they're colored, and with the newer phones, because you got the fingerprint sensor on the front, it's built into the display, and the fingerprint sensor is always on. And also, when you double tap, I believe, let me see if I have that set up on here, which I don't know if I do or not. I think, let me see. I think you turn that on, then double tap up here. Maybe that's not on. That's probably not set up on this phone where you get all these extra widgets. I don't think it's. I'm not sure if it's set up for this device or not, because it's not coming up. And I think you tap the lock screen. But here you could adjust the brightness, which I don't think there's any other. I don't think there's any other always on display where you could adjust. Yeah, this one don't have that. I think you need Android 11 for that, where you have all those extra widgets. But still, it's still very highly customizable. You can add a picture. They have so many different always on displays that you can use on this device. Very highly customizable. Next, you got the LED notification light. Now, as you can see, now the iris sensor doubles as a LED notification sensor. I'm gonna turn it off so you can see it blinking there. That's not it right there. That's another sensor. See it blinking red? Now that lets you know that you have a notification. That's also something Samsung removed from their device. Now I know some people say, oh, you could use the camera hole for that. No. We want an actual LED notification sensor. That would be nice. But this had it. Of course, face unlock. And face unlock, Samsung face unlock has never been the best to me. I don't really care for it all that much. But they also had it where you could combine the iris sensor and the face unlock together, and they call it intelligent scan. Now, I didn't use it because I didn't think it worked that well together. I would just usually use the iris sensor by itself. It seemed like it was just much faster. But that is an option that you have. And that's what I liked about this particular phone, because it had face unlock, fingerprint sensor, iris sensor. Okay? Then you had, you could put a password in, you could put a pin in, you could use, what do you call it? The other way, put your pattern, you could use your voice. You had 7 different ways that you can open up this device. 7. And I'm the kind of person, I love features and I love options, because if you're going to spend $1,000 for a device, you want your money's worth. You want value for your money. You just don't want somebody to just charge you all this money and they barely give you anything with it. No, that's why a lot of people love this device. You basically, when you paid $1,000, you got your $1,000 worth with this device. And I definitely believe that. Next, of course, the physical fingerprint sensor on the rear, which a lot of people like. Some people don't like the in-display fingerprint sensor. And this thing is super fast. As you can see, it's 100% accurate. 100%. See, I have a hard time reaching it because I have to, and the power button is up really high. So just trying to do that. But it's 100% accurate. And that's something that, most companies don't have those anymore as far as the back of the phone. Now, a few do, but most of the top flagship devices don't come with an actual physical fingerprint sensor. All fingerprint sensors are built into the display, everybody don't care for that. Some people like a physical fingerprint sensor, but this device has it. Next, the 3D home touch button. I already talked about that. That's on the front with the always on display. Activates the iris sensor. Now, the next thing I'm going to talk about is a big deal to some people, not everybody, but definitely to me, a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. Now, when they came out with the Note 10 Plus, that's when they decided to remove it. And I think the thing that made me so upset about that is because they put the headphone jack on the S10 series, but the Note 10 series, they removed the headphone jack. Now, they normally are pretty similar. They keep them pretty similar. I don't know why they did that. It didn't make any sense to me at all. It really upset me because I was always a person that preferred a headphone jack. I know I'm not the only one. There's a lot of people out there that want the headphone jack. They want that wired connection. They want to stick that 3.5 millimeter input into a headphone jack because you're going to get better quality of sound. Now, of course, they pretty much eliminated headphone jacks on all premium devices. I think the only one that still has one at the moment is the Sony phones and maybe your mid-range or budget phones. And I think mostly budget phones at this point. So, but all premium devices, they removed the headphone jack. I never understood that, and I don't like it, and I still don't like it. And that's something that I'm hoping that one day that they bring it back because there was no reason to remove it. Now, like I said, I'm the type of person, I like options. Give me the option of using Bluetooth or the option of using a headphone jack. And the reason why I prefer a wired connection, not only for the sound, but also with Bluetooth, you have to keep recharging them. And at some point, they can run out on you. You stick a pair of wired headphones in there, you don't have to worry about recharging nothing. And there's no ever breakup of your listening experience. Like sometime when I'm wearing my Bluetooth headphones, sometime the connection gets messed up and my music stops, then it starts again. Like, I don't like that. I don't want any interruption when I'm trying to enjoy my audio. So I prefer a headphone jack. This was the last Samsung Note to offer you a headphone jack. Next, dual stereo speakers. Now, the speakers on here are not, of course, not on the level of dual stereo speakers today, but these are still decent. They're adequate for the average consumer. You'll be satisfied with them, and they do sound pretty good. They have Dolby Atmos as well, so they sound pretty good. But dual stereo speakers, not one downfiring speaker, dual stereo speakers down at bottom coming through the earpiece. Next, now this is a feature that a lot of people sleep on and they don't really care about, is that right there. What is that? The heart rate monitor. You just set your finger on there and it it lets you know what your, let me see if I could get in here and see if I got that hooked up. Samsung Health. Let me see. Am I using that? I know I'm always using it, but excuse me. Nah, I guess oh well, but forget it. Anyway, I don't want to waste too much time on it. But the heart rate monitor can, of course, monitor your heart rate and also your stress level. And I like that because I used it a lot. I really did. Now, I know some people probably feel like Samsung removed that. Who cares? But I care because that's something I use quite a bit. And it wasn't taking up any space. They just put it right to the side of the camera. Like, I don't know why they felt like they needed to remove that. I really missed that. And I wish that's something that was on here. All right, next, you got expandable memory on this phone up to 1 terabyte. And of course, all y'all know Samsung, starting with the S21, has removed expandable storage from all their premium phones. Now this is the thing that really tripped me out. When they first came out with the Galaxy Fold, a $2,000 device plus taxes with no expandable storage. I could not believe that. To pay that much money and you couldn't give me expandable storage, I knew that was the beginning of the end right there. And then, of course, with the Samsung S21 Ultra, no expandable storage. And also with the S22 Ultra, no expandable storage. And of course, with the flip phones, no expandable storage. So they just removed expandable storage from their device. And I remember when they first did this with the Note 5, when they come from the Note 4, because the Note 4 had expandable storage and they went to the Note 5 and removed it. And there was such an outcry about it. So when Samsung came back with the Note 7, they put it back on there, and they had it on there up until the Note until the we call it the S21, right? The S21, because the S20 had it too. So soon as the S21 got introduced, they took it away. Now there needs to be, if people, y'all out there, y'all listening to this, if there's another outcry, I mean a serious outcry for expandable storage, I believe at some point they will have to put it back on there, or just stop buying their products, or buy their older products and be done with it. Because I'm just not gonna be okay with not having no expandable storage unless, and I say unless, you charging me over $1,000. Now these phones are between $1,200 and $1,500. You're gonna have to make the base storage 512 gigs, a half a terabyte, and I think most people wouldn't have an issue with that. 256, that's okay. Still not enough. Not based on that price. Over $1,000, no. I want 512 gigs of internal storage. So if you want expandable storage, you got it on this phone also. Next thing, you're getting IP68 water and dust resistance. See, just take a listen to all this stuff that I'm telling you that's on this device. So now you have water and dust resistance. So you don't have to worry about damaging this phone at all. And also the S Pen has water resistance. So you could basically take the S Pen out and write on this device underwater and it will work. Why? How do I know that? Because I've done it. So I know it works. All right, next, you're getting a 4,000 milliamp hour battery. Easy all-day battery life with this device. Easy, a full day. Now, you may not get into the second day unless you use your phone lightly and you got the display down pretty low. I always use my display on max brightness. Also, 8 gigs of RAM. Now, this is the 8 gig, 512 gig variant. But the basic, the ground level one was 6 gigs of RAM. But this one is 8 gigs of RAM. And you could pretty much find the 8 gig 512 one right now probably for like $400 something or less. So I got the 8 gig model right here. Next, 512 gigs of internal storage. Now the base model was 128. For some reason, Samsung skipped over the 256 gig internal storage variant of this. They just went from 128 straight to 512, which I think was a cash grab. They just did that to get more money out of the people. But most people was not spending $1,300 or $1,400 on no 512 gig variant, especially because they offered expandable storage. So most people got the 128 gig variant. But this is the 512 gig one. So I have a terabyte micro SD card in here, plus the 512 gig of storage already built in. So I got unlimited storage on this device. So I can do whatever I want. I can just go crazy. And that's the way we should want it, especially with us paying all this money for these devices over $1,000. We should be able to use our phone however we want and don't worry about running out of storage, deleting stuff. And because you're only giving us 128 gigs for $1,200, which is ridiculous. That's the S22 Ultra, 128 gigs for and 8 gigs of RAM for $1,299. That is ridiculous. That is ridiculous. And people that you're just okay with just paying that kind of money and you keep getting less, more power to you. Next, you do get 15-watt fast charging. Now, the charging today is far superior to this. But for the average consumer, you'll be fine. Plug this up overnight, and charge it up. You'll be fine. But it's not the kind of phone that you could wait till the morning to charge it to full unless you got 2 hours. Now, it'll charge in probably, I say, about an hour, 42 minutes from 0 to 100%, or an hour and 45 minutes. But you got to have that time to be able to let it charge with 15-watt fast charging. But it ain't that kind of phone where you could just wake up in the morning. You only got 45 minutes before you got to leave, and this will take 30 minutes to charge. This ain't that phone. But 15-watt fast charging for the average person will be fine, especially if you got more time in the morning or you're just going to charge it up overnight. You'll be cool with that. Next, you got 15-watt fast wireless charging. So you see all the things you see with this device, you're getting value. So now you got fast wireless charging. Now, so for those of you that use wireless charging, I know I do. I stick my phone on the dock every night, and I leave my always on display on. So when I wake up in the middle of the night, which I do every night, look over at the time and see what time it is. I can see the time. I can see my notifications. I can tell if somebody called me. I like wireless charging, and it charges my phone slower than the fast charging. It's still fast, but it's not as fast. It's just not as fast. But for wireless charging, you're looking at about 2 hours and 42 minutes from 0 to 100%. So it charges a lot slower, but still, if it's overnight, then you don't care. When you wake up in the morning, it'll be fully charged. Next, this has a flagship processor, the Snapdragon 845. This phone still runs good. I have absolutely no lag at all. Everything boots up really, really quick. No issues at all. Now, I'm not saying it's fast as my Note 20. I'm not saying that, but it's fast enough. You're really not going to have this is not a laggy device at all. Not at all. It's not laggy. No lag at all. I haven't experienced any. Even as old as this phone is almost 4 years old. So performance is not a problem. Next, MST. What is that? Magnetic secure transmission, meaning along with Samsung Pay, which this has, I can take this to even the old credit card terminals that don't have the NFC tag, and I could use this device because I have MST, which Samsung also removed with the S21. They took it away. So now you don't even have that. And everybody in the whole country does not have the newest terminal. So it's nice to know if I don't have my wallet and I want to use my phone to make my my mobile payments, I could do it with this because it does have MST. Next, Samsung DeX. Samsung wireless DeX. So you can either connect this wired to your TV or wirelessly. You got Samsung DeX, which give you that laptop experience on your computer, on your television, on a smart board. You have that capability with this phone. And I'm so happy that Samsung, when they updated this to Android 10, they gave us Samsung DeX. So that's on here as well. Next, let's talk about the cameras. So on the back, you have these two 12 megapixel cameras, one main, one telephoto. Of course, you got your flash. And, these photos on here are still pretty good. Of course, the cameras of today are superior to this one, of course, because the technology has really gotten better with the newer devices. But keep in mind, with this, you still get a pro video mode, you get a pro photo mode, you get a night mode, live focus mode, which is portrait video mode, and you can shoot at 4K on the rear and in the front. You still got some phones out here right now that's $1,400 don't have no 4K recording on the front. And this phone is 4 years old and got 4K recording on the front and the back. So that's impressive. So think about this again. I'm going to go down this list for all the things that this phone offers you. First, you get a boxing experience. Now, if you're not getting this open box or you're not getting this brand new, you might not get this boxing experience. But other than that, as far as the specs are concerned, Gorilla Glass 5 on the front and the back with an aluminum frame, a 6.4-inch Quad HD Super AMOLED display with a pixel density of 516. You're getting the iris sensor, always on display, LED notification light, face unlock, physical fingerprint sensor, 3D home touch button that activates the iris sensor and the face unlock, 3.5mm headphone jack, dual stereo speakers, heart rate monitor, expandable storage up to 1 terabyte, IP68 water and dust resistance, 4,000 milliamp hour battery, 8 gigs of RAM, 512 gigs of internal storage, 15 watt wired fast charging, 15 watt fast wireless charging, Snapdragon 845, which is the flagship processor, magnetic secure transmission, which is MST, Samsung DeX, and 2 cameras that shoot really, really good. Now, if you want to see some photos, stay tuned and I'll show you that at the end of this video. I'll show you some photo clips. But this is all you're getting with this device. You have devices right now on the market that don't even have half the things that this device has. And that's why this phone is still so popular, and that's why so many people still want to buy this device. And I don't blame them at all. See, that's why I'm keeping mine. This is a classic. Ain't no way I'm getting rid of this phone. No way. No way. This was my favorite Note as far as most complete Note. Now, my favorite Note now is the Note 20 Ultra because I like the brighter display. I like the better display, the bigger display, the bigger battery, the better cameras, the better performance, so I like the Note 20. But when it comes down to most complete Note and the best Note that Samsung ever made as far as overall as its capabilities and everything it has, this is that device right there. Now, it was the Note 10 Plus until the Note 20 came out. And there's things about the Note 20 Ultra I don't like, of course. I don't like that the S Pen is on the left side. Also, I forgot to mention faster charging speeds on this phone. And also, you're getting better speakers. But there's still things on the Note 20 that I don't like. But most complete Note and probably Samsung's best flagship phone ever built, in my opinion, is the Note 9. Now, of course, we know that the S9 was a flagship phone too, and it had pretty much everything this had except for it didn't have an S Pen. So some people will say, well, the S9 was Samsung's best. But as far as the Note is concerned, this is Samsung's best complete Note that they've ever made. And these are the roots that they need to get back to. This is what made me fall in love with Samsung, because they gave you so much. And so the price, even though it was a little steep at the time, but it was worth it. It really was. I felt like my money was well spent, because they gave me so much and an unboxing experience to go along with it. So is this phone still relevant today? I would say yes, as only if you don't care about, the latest and greatest software updates. And as long as the phone is running good and is running well, this phone is going to be good to you. It's a great, great device, an all-time great, a classic, no question about it. So stick around, check out these photo clips before I get out of here, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care and peace.
I know you told your friend you're not okay, and tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. And guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away, as you fade away.
Yeah, I'm about to fade away, cause every time I wake up I feel like it's Monday. Something's going wrong with all the chemicals up in my brain. All of a sudden I don't look at anything the same way. Gotta build up of my thoughts sitting in an ashtray. I'm sorry that I'm so inconvenient, okay. Just let me be me and I'll stay out of your way. I can see the way you look at me, I'm such a disgrace. I never really asked to be brought into this place. You wanna love me? Well then baby I have a taste. All the highs and the lows, no you'll never be the same. I don't really wanna hurt you, but I can't control the pain. If you're sticking by my side, maybe we could be okay. Okay, maybe you could be the change I need today. I promise that I've never felt this way. I really hope that you will choose to stay through all the pain.
I know you told your friend you're not okay, and tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. And guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look